Hi, and welcome to what I think is going to be the last video for our Applied Business Technologies course, and the last video for Sheets. So we're going to take some sample data and create some charts and some graphs, and really look at the power of the spreadsheet. So what we're looking at here is just the tutorial data. You can find that on Schoology. And if we want to get a visual about this, so we're looking at different states and different styles of stoves that they sell. But we want to, let's say, get a sense of like how much of the market does Massachusetts have compared to Vermont. We can highlight the area and go to Insert, Chart. So by inserting the chart, we are able to see by stove type the amount of sales. So the blues are representing your Massachusetts values, the reds are representing Vermont or Maine, and the green is Maine, sorry. So this chart is ready to go and very professional looking. Some of the things that we can do to customize it though, some of them are important and absolutely necessary, and some of them are just sort of additional. So to me, we absolutely have to have an axes label here because I don't know what this is. Is this dollars? Is this units? You know, like, is this 400,000 stoves that were sold or $400,000 worth of stoves? So I need to know what those numbers mean. So in order to do that, you know, we can right click on it and we're going to want to start to work with our axes titles. So we'll look at that vertical axis and we'll type in here that this is sales, and then you usually indicate the unit, so it's dollars. You've got a variety of other, you know, things that you could do to customize your chart. We should look at that horizontal axis because I'm not sure that Windsor Stove Sales is the correct name for this axis. It's just grabbing text from the data. So I think as a human, we have to analyze whether it's correct in its assumption or not. And I think it's better that we just type in here stove types, you know, or stove models, let's say, that might be better. Our actual like chart title is not going to be Massachusetts, Vermont, and Maine. That is probably best served as that name, which was Windsor Stove Sales. And maybe we'll bold that up. So our legend, this box here is telling us which color matches to which. So the legend could be at the top if we want. It's really typical to have a legend on the right. That would be quite usual. You could have it at the bottom also. But I think it's quite usual to see that legend on the right. And then each one of these pieces, we can go in there and like adjust those colors. So, you know, you can really sort of customize your output based on, let's say, your company's color schemes. You can have data labels for those, for each of the series. So with a data label, you're actually saying the exact number that is that is there for the sales. So generally for the Massachusetts sales, we'll have to estimate and we'll say, oh, that's probably around 410, 415. But with the Vermont sales, if we add that data label, then we can really see the exact number. So you're really highlighting a piece there. So let's take this, and I'm just going to kind of move it to the side here. I'm going to work with creating a new chart. So my next chart is just going to be looking at the states and their portion of the sales. So I'm only going to highlight the state names, and I'm going to push Control on the keyboard. So normally if you just go like this, you're going to be highlighting and showing data for all of these pieces. And this is unusual because this is a total of all these. So let's say we just want the state names and just the totals. You press Control on your keyboard while you're clicking and dragging over this. So it's a little bit tricky. So if you went like this and then you went to click and drag, you'd lose your highlight. So highlight, press Control, hold, and drag, and then you can release the Control button. So I'm going to insert a chart, and this time I want to pick a pie chart. So currently this pie chart is showing like a lot of different kinds of data points. So we really have to like, it's taking a guess as to what we want. But I think what we really need to do is like fine tune it in here. And oftentimes just switching the rows and columns, switching the assumption can start to help us to get there. Now, currently our graph is missing Massachusetts because it's assuming that column B is a header. So when we take that out and we say, no, column B is actual data, then Massachusetts shows up. We've got Maine, we've got Vermont, and we're starting to look good. So we'll go in and we'll edit our chart title so that it says, stove sales by state. And we definitely want to have a legend here. Well, actually, these lines are sort of acting a bit like a legend. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to, there's for my slice label. So for the slice label, it's nice that they gave the percents as part of, the automatic pie chart. But I would like to see the actual value, imprinted on my pie chart. So now I can actually see exactly the amount of stove sales that there were in each state. And currently they're showing me only the data that's here in row 3. So we're gonna have to go in there and work with that, work with the data. So the value then is not from B3 to D3. The value is from B7 to D7. That's the ones that we really want. So I think, it's really important we have to take a critical eye and make sure that what Google Sheets is guessing is actually what we're looking for. So again, how did I get that? That was here in value. So it's guessing some pieces. If not, then you can actually go and like select the data range yourself, so that you're really showing what you want. So, and again, with the pie chart, you can kind of customize your colors. And then these charts can also be printed off. They look quite professional, and they're also dynamic. So the beauty of it, and maybe I'll just make a change to Vermont. So we can see that the Vermont star is supposed to be 272, but let's change that to 350,000. So when I make that change, the pie chart automatically adjusts and redraws itself. This guy on our bar chart adjusted and redrew itself. I can't tell you how many chemistry charts and graphs I've drawn for lab experiments that I needed to redraw because they didn't readjust once I realized I had a wrong number in place. So using the spreadsheets to graph your data is a really powerful tool.